here are still people who have been sitting in a bunker since 2011. I have time to try out this novelty of 2017. So the last island year, finally after a long trip I came home. Do you feel it too? It's as if after a long and painful rest for 2 days in Wonderland you turn to your native parents and literally feel this native smoke here with an extract of cardust, gasoline impurities, and stand out earth from you while you chew you very young. Our first patent is a honey queen. The boss is of course very cool. I suddenly want to show him to you. All you need to know is what despite Shikuchami and love when a man is on top. All these years I have had problems with her signature too from the south. As sharp and cheeky as two mouths are always hanging out in your paddock. And only now I realized that before the impact the sound of chainsaw was heard for a couple of seconds. This is generally normal, isn't uh, how will if this stuff be passed by those who do not have hearing or listen to the face? The hand face is simple. Next on the right, I decided to look at my grandfather who collected a little robot in the trash. And you said you won't be able to master robotics for a long time here, but the haters and move your drunken grandfather to the trash. Here you see they will build spaceships themselves and they will advance science for 8,000 years. And now your disgraceful people from NASA will have been learned to create counter-neutral rockets for 10 years. It's a disgrace. Distracted from the important WhatsApp with the old man. Listen, but you are already tired of calling names. You have tried yourself for 2 years to make videos, but only your friends watch. If you point the bottle at them, and I'm not talking about a gun right now. Robot Nuke is a cross between from Rick and Morty and a near robot. In word, I pumped up Petuch choose part, but if you quickly disassemble the robot, when everything will be on easy. When I was a green young man, not experienced, I didn't understand how to sort out this job at all, built it up anywhere, and swore harshly. It turned out that it was necessary to shoot him in the point G. But this is the voice will understand. By beauty. When I looked into theater today in our program, Ado is getting married. In principle, it is in our program every day, but it doesn't matter what to do if only money is allocated for this. A pretty simple trick. The main thing is to dodge the bottles, jump over the way from time, and not get confused with she starts falling with the heroes. Imagine that you are a real man and you have nothing to be afraid of. It should work in principle if I don't have to write nasty things in the comments afterwards. I know without you what I'm the close and in general the director of everything. Well, in order not to pause the cat for one place, I decided to speed up, run and fall out to the final bomb of the island, the Ghost Express. Here are ghosts here anyway. I can't tell you who lived in Voronezh. You won't be surprised by such garbage. The main thing is to beat our keys red plastic in time, otherwise everything might to go according to plan. The skeleton gets out and also quickly crawls back. What's business as the main thing is always to stand in the middle and not to ask too many questions while you are full of course. Castiano very else can give fat and so tears your face already getting into the screen. At the end, the tears are an unexpected twist as a level when the toilet ran out of paper and the last time you were very tear was last year. As the revived train gets out and begins to bully and boil, well here the problem is solved. Wherever does not jump and we take it out not barely on charisma. Here hasn't been anything interesting in videos for a long time, so why not remove the Mother Museum again? You probably forgot how fun it's here and now even bigger whispers have appeared. They are breaking up into small ones. In principle, somehow humanity would have multiplied if the barbarians had not invented sex. But in principle, the time is now free and no one forbids you to dare. Let's be honest, I'm the only one who remember this. This never comes out and gives me something what I'm ashamed to say out loud. The third like the strongest ult, but it's just judge. The second one gives us a little pity as it were, and this one gives Enko Giroha like you let the sick single out of our rush, and he doesn't fly himself, but where you go, he does. What's what could be better in a hot fight when you still have all sorts of dust to pour on you? But when go feed these handsome guys, in principle, somehow I mastered the meeple while one is extinguishing the second at the other end of the platforms the stratagem is working. Tom and Jerry are already cringe, don't but air belly under the front rower and it spites during the metal and here will be no problems. Further, in the entertainment program vacation in Anapa in 2007, here we have both croissants and an octopus on which you have to swim for about an hour and a half figure of hundreds of shells. A typical walk through the Krasnodar Reservoir recommended to all lovers of calm relaxing walks. Do not forget to take a grilled chicken and already with a full heat with a galuputka. The perfect thing is provided. Every indie game has its one sex symbol. Crowd. Here we have this jellyfish, a typical modest girl from the internet. When you try to abuse here, we have a story about Uncle Vanessa's cucumbers, which you bought yesterday at the discount in Magnet. And then two questions matured in my head. How much per pound and what kind of discount was here was cucumbers? Knows right in the comments. In addition to hell on the screen, and small snakes here is nothing interesting. The main thing is to put yourself higher, and that's it. Not everyone will understand the next boss, but if you went fishing with your grandfather as a child, when you will understand everything, a great catch and a pack perishes ahead. The octopus Akuga also joined us. And when the long jungle of the ship itself, you can scare me with garbage weird, especially after the trick of the Pyrrhus ready, so I didn't even feel it. And now the moment of reckoning has come. By this moment, I was already signing without pants, waiting for an epic final and did not lose. At first, this is the Cup King, he's like grudging the child one. To fight him, you still need to kill a crowd of mini trumps. The most interesting of them, of course, is this animated brown penis. Well, what's about? And usually, when you pat everyone down, here are no more leaves left, but here I carried everyone with a reserve. You have to jump and shoot, and at this moment dream, but you will have time to jump over all the cards, hit the spacebar as another into yourself, and you will have a miracle. However, no surprises. Here, the hunt one offers me to give up, but I'm not looking for easy ways in life, so prepare a pack. I must say that the type is much more ferocious than the last gang, except for the nasty balls and the two necks. Everything is counteracted by easy. Well, the final jump is just like a sucker. This is the end of the game. We see that Cuphead broke the contracts of everyone he fought, which means everyone is alive and free, everyone is happy and having fun, as if eager Nickel Goliath he is going to the city with a concert and where the game ends and the credits roll. Like if I also too was the game was made by two brothers until I saw two 2,000 more people on the credits. It can be seen that will help animate the control, a normal practice in the game industry. What I want to say is that the game is just a fierce adrenaline mass paced 4 times, but I would not say that. It was like a walk out here with the comments where I was bumped and burned. Even though I had already passed before, I seem to remember the punches and tricky presses. The pleasure is delivered. The game is very unusual, constantly surprises bosses, and here elaboration and charisma are generally some kind of high level of art. I really hope that we'll live to see the second part at least in the next couple of years. But let's go back to the main thing, the iPhone prank. To get it, it's enough to subscribe to the Vika channel group by the Huskies to this video and write a witty comment on the topic of what is common and different between sex in Cuphead. And the author of the best comment we receive is the best original iPhone straight from AliExpress. Many people ask where he disappeared. Why here were no videos for so long? Someone has already managed to sit out and finish school. Someone has already gone to kind and written, but here is no content from retrograde. I will not excuse myself. I have been working on new headings. I want to shoot Says Call for you and a couple of new unique headings. Here are no such people in all the internet. In general, I want to shoot normal videos on really cool games like GTA RP, but not the computer, not the internet doesn't pull. But if you subscribe the channel, we grow and we will implement it over time. And well, I also did my own game. Check out the cinematics. These are purely levels in my game. Hot stuff are so you understand it will with a Slavic accent. Separately, I would like to thank those who will constantly watch my videos, but writes comments is strongly supports and motivates me not to abandon this case. It keeps my morale up. Most of all, of course, the people to it, Clutter Inc. or Drunkard Valera, and another tier type. Thank you guys. I wish you always their best catch. So at the simple fish pics just like that. But these are by no means my accounts from which I comment on myself. You can check for yourself and ask them a couple of questions just so what here are no more than 3 words. Catch everyone, see you soon. And I went to the marriage and check out the Ninjago legendary